That's really what got me started, was that idea that I knew that if I had been through this, so many other women had been through the same thing, and that we all have the power to reclaim our power and our purpose and our reason for living and our reason for being who we are, and to really dig into who that authentic self is inside us that we can call on to really be our strength, and to be our to really be that aspect of our higher selves that we can identify with and call on. And that's that goddess that's inside us. I think we all have that goddess self inside us that we can activate and call on. And where does she live, though? Right? Where in our bodies does she live? And she lives inside our womb. This is our most creative space in our body, right? Um, I think we all recognize, especially people who are moms, recognize that as a creative, a creative space in our bodies, because this is where we house those lives we gestate and create, right? But the womb energy is not just for creating people, it's for creating everything that we do in our life. And the womb also um, encapsulates those four most creative energies uh, in the world, in the universe, which are earth, air, fire, and water. Okay. Those are the four creative elements that make up everything in the universe. Okay. And so before we get into talking a little bit more about the specifics of our wombs, I want to take just a moment to feel into the energy of our own womb, so that when we're talking about wombs as we go along, we kind of feel our own energy, right? And our own energy connected to the energies of the wombs around us. Okay. So let's take a moment to take a really nice deep breath. And feel as if you're breathing into that womb space as you take another deep breath. Feel like expanding as you breathe in, and then breathe out one more time. Breathe in one more time and really feel the expansion. And I want you to put your hands on your womb for a moment and just feel her energy. Just get in touch with her. And then, if you're quiet, you'll hear the voice of your own womb. And as I always say, the goddess does not shout at you. She does not give invectives, but she whispers to you. I want you to take a moment and imagine that we are all sitting in a room in a big circle. And it doesn't really matter in which place you give people around the circle. Okay. But I want you to feel into your womb energy. And as you do, send your womb energy out to the woman you imagine to be on your left. It doesn't really matter who in the circle this is, but send your energy out to the left. And as you send your energy out, it travels around the circle, around the circle, around the circle, around the circle, each of us sending energy out to the next one until you feel energy come back to you on the right side. And once the two sides are linked into a womb ring, we can feel that ring just spinning around and through all of us, activating and strengthening and heightening our womb energy, each of us giving to the other and receiving from the other this beautiful womb energy. And as I said, it doesn't matter whether you have an actual womb, whether you have given birth or you haven't given birth, we all still have the capacity to give and send energy to each other. And as the ring spins, I want you to make an affirmation for yourself. And let's just realize that an affirmation is just a statement said with intent. It can be anything, but make an affirmation about yourself and how you wish your own creativity could expand, something you envision for yourself. And just say it to yourself 3 times as we allow this womb energy to continue to spin with within us and through all of us. And now let us sit in gratitude for 1 minute for all of the energy that has passed between us, all of the giving and receiving that has gone on. And let each of us call back our own energy, whole, full, and complete to our own wounds, but also cleansed by the experience of sharing with one another. Take another deep breath. And come back. If you're back, if you're feeling good, please put a 1 or a thumbs up in the chat. I felt that. That was very powerful. That was very, very powerful. And I think it's because we're all open to sharing and to receiving from one another. And I think that's very important that we keep ourselves open to one another and to allow ourselves to receive, because I think that sometimes that's where we, as women, can shortchange ourselves, is that we recognize that feminine energy is about nurturing. Okay, it is about supporting one another. It is about being there for one another. But when it comes to our turn for someone to be there for us, we're like, oh no, I'm nurturing now, I'm nurturing now, instead of also allowing ourselves to receive. We need both. We need both in order to be successful in using our energy. So I just want to get a little bit into those 4 creative energies I was talking to you about. And then we're going to have them a little bit more formal activation. And then I am going to have a little bit of an offer for you guys if you want to really explore this type of creative energy even more. Okay. So as I said, we have the 4 creative energies in our womb: earth, air, fire, and water. Okay. Normally I have this big diagram, but we just want to feel into it today. I really didn't want to get into too much on all these um graphics and things, but really just let us feel intuitively, because that really is the energy of the womb. The energy of the womb is completely intuitive. When we think about the 3 most powerful centers in our bodies where we can receive information, which are the third eye, the heart, and the sacred, what I call the sacred womb, the sacral chakra plus womb energy, right? Um, the womb area is the only intuitive energy, that does not have to be deciphered by the brain. Both of our third eye and our heart intuitions are mediated by the brain, but that of the womb is not, which is why you can get like just that gut hit. Something isn't right, something doesn't make sense, I don't want to go in there, or I don't like that person, or I feel connected really strongly with somebody for no good reason. And that is because that womb energy does not have to travel to the brain, and you don't have to make quote unquote sense of it. Okay. You don't have to make logic of it, but you do make sense of it. Okay. So when we talk about the womb, we basically have like a little womb diamond. And believe it or not, this is the sign language sign for what we will delicately call the hoo-ha. But when we're getting to the womb, we have the bottom of the womb. Let me get up here. The top of the womb, right? We have the left side of the diamond, which is the left ovary, and we have the right side, which is the right ovary. I'm glad, I'm glad I cracked you up, Olivia. But and I need that cracking up, let me tell you. So we have this little womb diamond, right? And we have the four corners of the womb, right? Now, the top of the womb is really the energy we have of it. You're just cracking me up now, Olivia. Oh, is the energy of air. And when you think about air, what do you think of? You think of heights, you think of like being on the top of a mountain and looking out and being able to see all of the beautiful things that are around you, right? That beautiful vista that's in front of you, that's your future, that's your life. Okay. Air is also mental processes, your thoughts, right? They're new ideas, new concepts. So when you think about, this is one thing that I think about when we think about, uh, why does this slip my elevation breakthrough, right? What are we breaking through, right? We're there up in the air and we're looking out at all the possibilities, right? And what color do you see predominantly is yellow, right? Yellow is the color of air and of that element. And so whenever we're thinking about the air element, we're always thinking about newness and what can we create that's new, exciting, and just that, what is our vision for ourselves? And that's the air element. Okay. The next element we get to is the left ovary, which is the water element, right? And so for a minute, I just want you to put your left hand on the left side of your body. Feel somewhere where it feels like that's your left ovary. That's your water. That's what I'm in tonight. For some reason, I am so completely in my water element, right? And you think about now we're talking about when you are gestating, when you're creating anything, you always start with the idea of it, right? Even with a baby, right? You're almost like a little thought before you're anything else, right? But then once you start to develop, the next thing that develops in when you gestate is the water element, right? Where amniotic fluid starts to come in and surround that growing, at this point, maybe it's a zygote, it's not even a fetus yet, but you start to get that water, which is the water of life. That's what water represents: flow, energy, spirit, right? All of this is the water element, the flow that you feel in your life when things are easy, right? This is the water in your life. Okay. But water doesn't last forever. And going against what Governor Ron DeSantis thinks, the heartbeat isn't the first thing to form. That comes way later. But that is the next thing that forms over here on the right side, right? That's the fire in our bodies, right? That's the creative spark. That's the point where you really start to envision and get a passion for what it is that you're creating. Okay. When you think about it, sometimes um, without that fire, right? Without that, the beat, the pulse, the action part, right? That's when you really start to dig into whatever it is you're creating and actually begin to make that thing real in your life. Okay. The color of water, right? We think of it as being clear, okay? But we can also think of it as or white, but we can also think of that as black, the depths of the oceans, right? Because that's the part that's really the most important, not the surface, but the depths. And the same is true with the fire. We think of that as red, right? And the fire represents that passion we get for what we're creating. And then finally, we get down into earth, okay? And earth represents the actual manifestation, the creation of what it is that we're working on, the reality of it. Nothing is real until it is grounded into the earth. And this is why when we did Move Into Your Mission, we started up way up at the ground with ideas and things, and we went all the way down through our body to our root chakra so we could root things that we were creating into the earth, into reality, right? Not airy fairy stuff up here, but in reality, in all the and as we go further into the earth, we go further into structure, we go further into how does it look, feel, taste, touch, smell, all of our five senses, where we actually um, can discern what it is that we are creating, and other people can see it as well. So these are our four creative elements. But when we're talking about womb energy, the most creative part of the womb is that center, is the center of the womb. That's called the Aditi, Aditi. Okay. And she in herself is the goddess of the void, right? Because from the void, anything is possible. Anything that you could possibly imagine can be created from this energy. So we need to honor all of these aspects of the womb energy. Now, one of the things that I think is really true is that when we're talking about our own womb energy, we cannot talk about our own womb without talking about the wombs around us. And that is the women around us, but also the fact that we are anchored between both the womb of the cosmos and the womb of the earth. They also have a bearing on what we do and what we create, because they have two different poles on us, right? When you think about the womb of the cosmos, it said this is the real Aditi. The Aditi inside us, this is like the microcosm of the macrocosm, which is the universe, right? I don't know if anybody here is familiar with the idea of fractals, which is that everything that exists, if you take it at its tiniest level and its grandest level, they are both the same thing. They look exactly alike. So for example, if you were to take a stalk of broccoli, right? You know what it looks like, right? But when you look at the molecule of broccoli, it looks just like a broccoli, right? Or if you take a broccoli, what do kids call broccolis? Trees. They look exactly the same, whether they're great big or they're a little bitty tiny. Okay, and that's the same way with our own wombs. And this is why I think that we are getting into so much turmoil in our world right now, and why things seem to be so chaotic, which is because with the return of the sacred feminine or the divine feminine, which is what I believe is happening now, it leads to the kind of unbounded, unstructured change that we're seeing in our world right now. And so the more we can embrace that and recognize that this is you know, maybe some of the moorings that we know are off, right? Um, but it gives us so much more freedom to be and do exactly as we please without some of the strictures and structures that have been on us as women for a very long time. I mean, you can even think about it in terms of um, not being in the home and all the careers that are available to women right now, all the ways in which women are moving in the world now that even when I was born, well, all right, admittedly, the dinosaurs were still roaming back then, but even just in my lifetime, how much change there has been. And if we want to be our greatest selves and create the the most that we can for ourselves, then we have to embrace that, and we have to have a mindset of growth and expansion, and we need to allow this womb energy to be as potent as it is. And I think that's where we kind of run into trouble a little bit when we try to tamp down on that expansive vision and that expansive energy that is flowing through all of us right now. And so we want to open ourselves up to that even more, as much as we can, as much as you can bear. Open yourself up to it. Okay. Is that making sense to everybody? Does anybody have any questions, any thoughts, anything that they want to share? Please put it in the chat. Or you can just talk, because I'm kind of used to that. If you guys don't know, I teach teachers how to teach. That's what I do when I'm not doing this. And a lot of them just, oh, miss, oh, teacher, oh, I'm not the waitress, but go ahead. But they just like to burst in because they get excited. They're excited to learn. And so if you feel like you want to burst in and you're excited to know an answer, please, I wouldn't stop. Okay. I would actually welcome anybody's enthusiasm, or anybody wanting to say something. And go ahead, Larissa, don't raise your hand, just speak.
I just want to say, like, I could really listen to you all day, and I'm really grateful to be here. I'm really having a really, really hard time right now. But like just listening to this, it's so grounding, and I pulled out my deck and I feel like the little goddesses are also talking to me. So thank you for that. But I'm really
Beautiful.
struggling. It's so grounding. Thank you.
Thank you. And just as you say that, I look over and Dee says that this is going over her head. And so, Dee, can you be a little bit more specific, or maybe you do need to hear it more? And please, I'm gonna put in the chat that my group where you can join in and learn more about these things is called Awakening Your Inner Goddess. And if you need to hear more about it, certainly that would be the place. But go ahead, Dee.
Yeah,
from D to D, from D to D.
I do. Yeah, that's good. This does seem like one of those topics I need to hear again and again because it's so brand new to me.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what happens to me sometimes, and I think it's awesome to hear new things again and again and again. So yeah, I just want you to know that that's how I'm feeling right now. But
Good.
I'm still holding on here. I'm still holding on.
Okay, good. Good, because what we're going to do.
Add to that, this is Olivia. I have heard these talks, but even this time I'm hearing new things. And as much as I'm into the chakras, I really am not that comfortable yet with the earth, fire, air, and water energies. And we even wrote a little journal about the chakras and the earth, fire, water, air energies as well. And I just wanted to say is like, it's constant learning, because it's a constant vocabulary, and I'm older. I can't remember one day from the next hour. So I'm just letting you know it's all good, because it's interesting. It's something you want to listen to. It's not like, okay, let me hear that formula again for quadratic equations. It's more fun.
Thank you, Olivia. Thank you. And so we're going to go into a meditation now where I think what we need to do, we connected with our womb just kind of on a superficial level, but now let's visit all four of those womb energies. And that's really what we're trying to activate at this point, is our connection with the energies, because it's all good and well to talk about stuff, but when you can feel into it in your own body, that's what makes a difference, right? That's what makes the difference, the experience. And, as I said, I teach teachers how to teach. There is no great learning experience from someone, sometimes just lecturing you. You need to experience, even if you're talking about math, sometimes you need to do the equation yourself before you feel comfortable saying, I understand that. So let's do that for a few minutes and just take a moment. We're going to put our hands back on our knees. Breathe deeply again. And this time we're going to start at the bottom, at the earth energy. Okay, so you can imagine the point at which your womb touches your cervix. Okay, now do we know precisely where that is in the body? Well, if we kind of open ourselves up when we look at it, yeah, but where do you feel that energy in your body? That's what we're focused on. So let's touch our earth for a minute and imagine ourselves walking through a beautiful field of tall grass, and we can feel it against our bare feet as we're walking along, just enjoying the warmth of the day and the breeze on our face, maybe some hair stirring around our temples. Maybe we feel the sun on our arms or our shoulders. And we're feeling so good that we can just lay down on the earth in that tall grass. And maybe you spread your arms wide or your feet wide, make some grass angels instead of snow angels, and just really nestle yourself into the earth. And as you nestle yourself into the earth envelops you right back. And you feel yourself being drawn deeper and deeper into the earth. And as the earth envelops you, take a note of how you feel. Does this feel warm and inviting? Or does it feel smothering and suffocating? Do you feel as if you belong? Or as if you wish to get away? As you lie there, taking in the smell and feel and taste of the earth, do any sounds come up? Do any words or images come to your mind? Do any memories come up for you? And if they do, hold on to them. Remember them. But it's time to move on. And you rise from the earth and shake the dirt and the grass from around your body, almost like a dog shaking water. And you inhale, and as you do, you look around and you notice that to your left, there's a fire burning off in the distance. And you walk toward the fire, feeling warmer and warmer and warmer. And as you stand before the flames, do you feel excited or do you feel afraid? Do you feel warmed or scorched? And as the flame draws you closer, do any thoughts or feelings come to your consciousness? Any images or stories? Or even any animals or other natural beings seem to be around you? Can you feel the dancing of the flames in your body? And as the flame releases you, you step back and you feel your shoulders and your arms and your legs. You feel movement in them as you shake away the energy of the flames. And as you open your eyes and take a deep breath, you look off to the right and you notice a beautiful, tall mountain. And as it beckons you closer, you begin to walk up and up and up the side of the mountain, almost as if there are steps leading you from the ground to the highest height of the mountain. And as you reach the top, you feel the air circulating all around you. And when you open your eyes, you can see far into the distance. And as you close your eyes again and hold out your arms, do you fear this height or do you feel comfortable being at this high peak? Do you feel like you have arrived or as if you're about to fall? Does your breath come easily or is it labored? And as you continue to breathe deeply, do any words, pictures, or images come to you? Do you feel any birds or other animals or other creatures around you? Do you feel any guardians beside you? Just take a minute to appreciate this beautiful view of all that is before you. But then you look down and way, way, way below you, you see a beautiful body of water. And it's calling to you. And all you have to do is take one step forward and you will dive deeply into this water. And as you find yourself going down and down and down toward the water, do you feel excited or afraid? Do you feel as if you will dive deeply or that you will drown under the water? And as you find yourself going deeper and deeper underneath the water, do any images or thoughts or phrases come to your mind? And do any memories surface? How does the coolness of the water make you feel? The coolness of the water against your skin. And now you find it is time to rise from the water. And you do so slowly, coming up within a cave that you did not know was there. And as you reach the ground and stand up and shake the water from your body, you realize that deeper within the cave, a light is glowing. And you walk toward this light, partly out of curiosity, but partly because it's calling to you, for you to find out what could be glowing deep inside this cave. And you come to a center chamber. And in that chamber is a beautiful golden chest. And inside that chest are precious and semi-precious stones. And something inside that chest is for you. And as you step forward into this glow, you plunge your hand into the chest and you feel what is meant for you. And you pull it out to look at it. And you keep that in your mind as you put it in your pocket to bring back with you, because it is yours. And so now you find yourself walking out of the cave and somehow walking back into that beautiful garden where you started. And you find yourself closing your eyes one moment, taking a deep, deep breath, releasing it, and now you feel your fingers, your toes, your eyes, and you come back. You're back. Put something in the chat so I know you're back. If anybody would like to share for a moment, we can do that.
Can you hear me without like a whole lot of wind?
Yeah, we're hearing you pretty good.
Okay, good. Okay, so that was wild. You've seen my post in the comment before about like, like I have some, deep womb stuff, and I also think that goes to like the mother wound. You know what I mean? 'Cause I do have a lot of that. You know what I mean? So it's crazy because like with the PCOS that I have, I actually felt it in one of my ovaries, my left ovary, like when you were first starting to do stuff and like talking about stuff. And then all of a sudden, like all this energy rushed to like my actual womb and like in the center. So I like have a short cervix and stuff too. So it was like a wild experience. I'm out. Luckily, I'm very good at visualization and listening. I've learned how to master the multitasking and being able to do that and bring it in even when I'm conscious, right? Like one of my happy zones. But it was funny because like when I got up really high, I was just like free like an eagle is what I thought. And then like dive in and it was so fun. And then I turned into a mermaid. Like what in the holy hell? Like talk about some feminine energy, right? Like I just in there and I'm like loving the water and just like it's fun. Like you're like, are you having fun? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm loving it right now. And then all of a sudden a mermaid and I was like, what in the world? And I seen a starfish too. So I got to go figure out what this dang starfish is because the starfish showed up in my river yesterday when I was drawing with Olivia. So I got to go figure out what a starfish means. So yeah, that was very fun. And like the words that came to me at first was like creativity and just fun. Like, and I'm stuck on this feminine thing. I'm gonna send you guys, I'm gonna drop it. I'll probably drop it over in my group just so like because there's multiple people here.
Yeah.
I am stuck on this damn dress that I seen like a while ago online. Said it was not a place like where I could go buy the dress, but I just want it and it showed up again in meditation earlier. So yeah, this
You need a
feminine
dress.
stuff. I need it. It's a
Absolutely.
it's white, but it has like the brightest thing flowers on it, but not like the tacky ones. Like you see some when you Google bright flower dresses, it's pretty tacky most of the time. I'm talking this is a bold, fun, beautiful dress with bright yellow heels. So there we
Ooh,
go. Yeah, so welcome to my
yes.
life. Thank you, Dee. I loved it. That was great.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm so glad. Anybody else want to? Yep, yep. I see. Larissa, why you have crying tears going on?
Because I'm really going through it. And when you said like put your feet down and like the earth is gonna like come up and support you, I felt like I was like, Gaia, please help me, help me. And then all my guides are around me and I'm like, guys, can you just give me some like healing energy? But they all put their heads down. They were like, no, Larissa, we're gonna cry with you. It's okay. We're gonna cry with you. We're all gonna feel it together. So I'm going through it. My life is Jesus. Thank you.
You know what? You froze for that whole time. So say that again, Larissa. We missed what you were saying.
Oh, was I smushing my phone? Oh, my phone is dying. That's why.
Oh,
I was
okay.
saying that when I put my feet, you said put your feet down and like put them in the earth and then like the earth is gonna come up and like grab you. I was imagining like Gaia, I was asking her for help. I was like, please like help me. I'm going through it. And all my guides were around me and I was like, oh guys, I feel you. Can you just like give me some love right now? Like help me. And they all put their heads down and they were like, no, Larissa, we can't help you, but we'll cry with you. You're not alone. We'll cry with you. So we just spent that whole time crying. Like, I'm going through it. And they're like, it's okay. We'll feel it with you.
Yeah, and it's the truth that sometimes there is nobody to help you, but there are people to support you. So there, it kind of is what it is sometimes. And
But this
sometimes it's for you to figure out what is it that
this is just
you need.
oh, I'm sorry. I
Go
apologize.
ahead, go ahead.
This is just Olivia. I just got this intuitive thought that do something different. Like how Dusty says, if you're writing with your right hand, write with your left, or maybe she didn't say that, brushing your teeth with one hand, brush it with the other. Just do something different because whatever you're doing now is giving you this pull downward. And when I see you, even now, I know I was smiling and laughing when you were saying the guys would just went like that because I get it. We just want things to work out and they're not working. And we have these expectations that, we're going to put this, and that in place and it's going to work out. What I thought about this exercise is, I don't know. I just thought it was fun. And I remember that day I took a class with Dee. She's having us all lie down with our hands on our womb. And all of a sudden this girl comes and she puts her hand on my womb. And I was like freaking out because I'm not used to anyone touching me. And our eyes were closed. We were visualizing. And she goes, no, St. Michael's told me you needed me. I was like, not that close. I don't even know your name. Go away. But we became really good friends. So you just never know what happens.
It's the truth. And I
Oh,
truly appreciate what you said, Olivia, about doing something different than the way that you are doing it now. Because sometimes, I don't know if Einstein really said this or not, but insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different response. And this is totally true that if you're doing the same exact thing, the same exact way, the same without seeing which way you can alter it, um, then we are kind of getting in that insane rut. And so you do have 4 tools though with you, right? Which is earth, air, fire, and water. So you can use air and think about it differently. Maybe it's not so much what's going on for you, but your expectation of how things are supposed to be or what's supposed to happen. That could be the issue. And so maybe it is just going to be what it is. But if you don't expect that things are going to be different, then you don't have to worry about it, right? Or maybe how about water? Like, what are you doing? Because we're all spiritual people here. What spiritual practices are you putting in place for your own healing and growth? Because as we said before, sometimes we're so busy nurturing others that we neglect to do those things that nurture us so that we have the strength and energy to move forward. How about fire? How are you acting in the situation, right? What are the steps you are taking to make things different? And if you're doing it the same way you have done it before, it's probably not going to change the outcome. And then you have earth, right? How are you taking care of your own needs? And in what way are you building a strong foundation so that you can build something different on top of that, so that it will give you a different outcome? So we always have those 4 elements with us. And the 5th element, really, when we talk about what's at the center, we're talking about our spirit, right? This is the spirit from which anything can emerge, that imaginal realm where we are at our most creative. And if you think about the craziest dream you ever had, and I've had some really crazy dreams, it can rain up but it can't really do that in real life. You can be in your dream, you can be an old lady, you can be an old man, you can be a young child, you can be somebody that it's you, but you look like Olivia or somebody else, or you can have dreams when you're flying or you're out in the stars, in the cosmos somewhere. You can do anything that you want to. And so we really do have that capability even when we're awake. And we just don't recognize how much control, or at least how much we can crack open the realm of possibility for different things to happen for us. And sometimes it's our own, adherence to what we think is supposed to happen or how things are supposed to go that can hamper our ability to actually make change in our life. Is that making sense? Yeah, I see you put, I love that. Okay. So guys, now I'm hoping everybody got something really good from that activation. And what I want you to do to keep the activation going and to keep the connection with your own womb going is I want you to, well, I'm just going to put it bluntly, I want you to touch yourself. I want you every single night to put your hands on your own womb. And I want you to not just put your hands there, but move the energy. Get some massage oil, or get some, especially good is avocado oil, especially Dusty, when you were talking about having issues with ovaries, avocado oil is great for ovaries. Get some evening primrose oil, get some grapeseed oil. These are all great oils to massage yourself with. Put some essential oils in them. Get some clary sage, which is great for regulating hormones. Or get yourself some It's just on my head. Geranium, which is great for lifting the mood, or get yourself whatever you need. There's an essential oil for it, right? And you mix a few drops of the essential oil with a tablespoon of the other oil, right? You never use essential oils on your body or in your mouth or anywhere else that are not diluted. Okay. And I say that as a certified aromatherapist. Anyway, so you're gonna mix up your oil, and then you're gonna rub it between your hands and make it nice and warm. And then you get your body all ooey gooey and sticky on the bottom, right? And rub the oil around and move the energy. So if you feel you're stuck over here in your water center, rub that left ovary. And you can use a circular motion. Or if you feel like, hey, I'm too grounded. I always, all I can think of is practicality. And when it comes to like having new visions of myself, whatever, I don't get there. So rub the top of your room and circulate some new ideas and work. Or you say, well, I have all these great ideas, but I never act on any of them. Rub that left ovary, right? I'm on the wrong side for I mean the right ovary. The right ovary, rub that right ovary, right? And you can even start to think of the colors that are, represented and whatever. So or if you have any guides, guardians, animal totems that come to you, okay? If you start seeing animals of the air, that that's maybe an area where you need to massage that energy, right? And to support them, because this is how you let any I'm just going to call it an entity, though entity doesn't mean something bad. Any entity that wants to work with you, whether it's a guide, it's a guardian, archangel, whatever, how you connect with them is by letting them know you want to connect with them. It's like you go over and say hi to somebody at a party, and they're like, you go find somebody else who really wants to work with you, right? Who wants to talk to you. So the same way you want to show them some love back. Yes, I want to work with you. So if you feel like you have angels coming to you, they still need to know that you want to work with them, because if you are working with a true guide or guardian or an ascended master, they are not going to be making you do stuff. They're there to support you, right? So you want to let them know that you want their help and their guidance, because they're not trying to force their agenda. So you just want to rub on yourself, love yourself, whatever, then go take a nice shower or a bath, pamper yourself and love on yourself, and let your own womb energy know that you want to work with it, and the energy of your entire body for that matter. Okay, wear some orange. Okay, eat orange foods. Okay, and just let that part of your body know that you're interested in its workings and in working with it. Okay, and does anybody have anything they want to add before we get into our offering for today, which is that I would really love to work with you on what I call cracking the creativity code. And as I said before, I don't want to delve into any conference, whatever. This is all meant to be experiential. But I will say that what we do with cracking the creativity code is that we work with the three main intuitive centers of the body that help boost creativity in our lives. And I can say this because I have taught creativity in any number of forms. In fact, when I got that job that I was talking about, that I didn't have before, that fell into my lap, it was teaching creativity at Bronx Community College. So what I was teaching in education was how to bring creativity into your classroom, but you can't bring it into your classroom if you don't bring it into your life in the first place, right? So if you want, there are so many ways, intellectually, intuitively, physically, that we need to bring creativity into our life, so that we can not only create our own lives, that we can also create like the creative stuff that we want to do. Okay, Olivia wants to doodle. Okay, Joycelyn wants to draw. I mean, I want to write, but the creative impulse and the creative energy opens in the same space. It's the same energy that we need, that we use when we create our own lives. And so this is why my goal is to help you access your fullest creative potential, to clear what's blocking you from fulfilling your creative destiny, because many times it's stuff that we don't see for ourselves. And then we want to reclaim the parts of ourselves that are lost or unconscious, that can really contain the keys to our most creative selves. And when I talk about that, what I'm really saying is, what I'm really talking about is those parts of ourselves that kind of dissociate when we consider them to be unacceptable, right? When we say to ourselves, maybe we're too loud, maybe we're too, we're too awkward, we're too whatever, and we don't like those parts of ourselves. And so they don't hang on, right? They disappear, because like anything else, if you don't give them the energy that they need to survive, then it kind of goes by the wayside. So then we work with those 3 creative centers. And this is a 21-day program. So this is a real intensive 21 days of activating your inner creativity for whatever it is you need. We cover 3 topics: well, meeting your muse, stalking your story, and breaking out of your box. And what we really try to do is to create and connect with your creativity, with your innate creativity, in a deeper way than ever before. And we use meditation, we use movement, we use contemplation, we actually use doodling, we use all kinds of imaginal techniques in order to get you to be able to open up to your creativity in ways that you haven't before. And so just for being here today and being loving and lovely, I'm making a special offer to you guys, because the course is normally it's normally $497, but for today, because you're here, I'm taking $200 off of the program for you, so it would only be $297. And what would happen is that you can, if you paid in full, it's $297. If you need some time, there's like 3 payments. That would be a little bit more. It's $111, and $111. It's just a little bit more for the lack of convenience on my part. And so there would also be some bonuses, which would include a talk with me, aside from the regular program meetings, which would be, there's actually 5 meetings, because we have an introductory meeting, we have 3 weekly meetings, and then we have a closing meeting, right? And so through all of that, you would be helped by me. And I was a multi-published author before Olivia and I even got together. So it all depends on the kind of creativity that you want to bring in for yourself, whether it's your writing, whether it's your drawing, whether it's your doodling, whether it's your painting, or whether it's just living the most expansive life that you can imagine for yourself. That's what this course is designed to do. So if you're interested, put a 1 in the chat. Oh, I see Larissa. Okay. And what I will do is I will connect with you afterwards, because I'm not going to tell you the usual bullshit. Okay, let's be real. If you don't get it now, you can't have it. If you don't sign up today, it's going to be 2 times as much. The usual nonsense people tell you to get you to purchase right away. All of this will be here for you, but I do want to know who's interested, because I would really like to get everybody on board who would like to try this. It is an online course, and it is truly a lot of fun. It's truly a lot of fun. So and soul retrieval is part of what is going on in that 3rd week. When we talk about reclaiming parts of ourselves, we are talking about soul retrieval. We are talking about going into the darkness and looking for those parts of ourselves that are missing, that we need to reconnect with. And one of the big things that I say about that is that, a lot of people say, well, you got to shine the light on everything. And I really don't believe that's true. Because we're like icebergs, 10% of who we are is conscious. The other 90% is below the surface. But what would happen to an iceberg if all of a sudden 90% of it was above the water? What would happen? It would capsize and it would be disastrous. Okay, we don't really need to do that to ourselves. What we need to be able to do is, instead of grabbing all the parts of ourselves that are down there, that are in the darkness, that we're not looking at, that we're not noticing, is not to necessarily drag them up into the light, but to learn to see without fear in the darkness. And there is a difference. Okay, and that's what we are trying to do when we go into this creative work, is we are trying to learn to see without fear into the darkness, because there's nothing down there that if you put the light on it, it is the same exact thing. Think about even in your own house. There's nothing, if you walk into your house and it's dark and you turn on the light, the same thing that was there in the darkness is still there in the light. And you don't need to have a flashlight to even know what's exactly how to maneuver in your house. If you come home late, you don't want to turn on the light. You know exactly how to get to the stairs, right? Or you know how to get to the couch. You know how to get to your bed. So what we're trying to do is to recognize that we are still connected with those parts of ourselves that may not wish to be right up there in the daylight and have the light shown in their face. So I am so happy to see that people, there's some interest here, and we can talk later and get the ball rolling. I'm going to say special thanks to Dee and Susie Q, who I didn't know before now, who joined us tonight. I know that you've been part of the I Am Enough family. But I thank you especially for being here tonight, because I think neither of you kind of know what you were going to get when you came. And I'm so happy that you took the chance and came in to find out more. So I'm going to open up the floor. I know I've gone on beyond my time. I didn't realize we would take this long, but if anybody has anything to say, please feel free to turn on your camera or not turn on your camera. But if you have something to say, please address the group if you feel called to do so.
I wanted to say something. I don't want to keep anybody. That's why I was hesitant to say, because a lot of things came up during that last activation. So like I put in the chat, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm still kind of like buzzing a little bit from it. So it's like the things that you're saying are kind of going in and out my head right
That's
now.
Okay.
And I think that's why I feel like I need to say something, because I still feel the energy from it. Almost similar to when I got the Reiki activation. It's interesting what Dusty said about her left ovary and having PCOS, because I have the same. And when you told us to touch our left ovary, I didn't realize the whole time my hand never left the left side. So when she mentioned it, I was like, oh my gosh, me too. During the meditation, I was never alone. And everything was hypersensual in the sense of, like, I really smelled the air. I really can almost taste it. It was almost palpable, like sweetness. And it's like when I was in the grass, instead of like being sunken down into the earth, it's more like grass blades like caressing my skin and like enveloping me softly, wholly. And it's interesting because the first thing I had come to mind to do in the meditation was go on my side in fetal position. And I said, wow, isn't that fitting? You know, to be held by the earth like a mother and a child in the womb. And then as the only thing that scared me a little bit was the fire part. And it's more like my logical sense kicked in, like, why is there a fire in this field? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Like, that's the first thing. But then it's this one guy that I have, and I still up to this day have no idea who they are, but I feel like it's a masculine energy, was sitting in the flame. So that was another guide that was there because, you know, the earth held me, you know, went to the fire. Then that guide was there. Don't know who he is, but he was the same one that appeared in my Reiki activation when we were in the cabin
yeah.
in front of the fire, and he was there. And the same thing happened where he is red and orange and yellow embers. And yet I was a flame too, but my flame was again, and it's always this way, and I don't know why. There's always blue and white. And it's kind of like we intertwined hands. So he's like, don't be afraid, it's me again. Hi, you know.
Right.
And like, you know, going up the mountain too was kind of like the grass blades were pushing me up the mountain, so I didn't even really have to climb. And when I got there, I'm like looking over everything. I'm like, wow. And the first thing that came into my head when I felt the wind was, hi, friend, because I have a weird connection with trees and the wind. So a lot of times, like I showed you guys, when I sit by my lake in my neighborhood, that's one of the reasons why I feel like it communicates with me, because the air will be still. But once I sit down and I'm like, hello again, all of a sudden the wind picks up, like it's responding to me. And that's how it felt. And I felt it envelop me. And it just felt like, oh, like I'm hanging up on top of a mountain with a friend. And the wind was what like kind of gave me a hello. And I didn't dive in. They carried me into the water where I dived in. And the one thing that was weird, not weird, that I was like, this is ridiculous with Dusty again, is when I went into the water from the first soul retrieval I did for myself, because I was trained in how to do it by my friend who's a shaman. The first time I did a soul retrieval by myself, I was surrounded by sirens. And I was also in the water. And that's where my logo came from, was that soul retrieval. That visual that I had in the water is what my logo actually is. And the sirens were like, hi, we're back again. And instead of me swimming, they were taking my arms and my legs and kind of like not dragging me, but like helping me go through the water. And then in the cave, going to that chest, you know, I was scared because I'm afraid of the dark, but then when I saw the light in the chest, the weird thing is, before you even said whatever is in there, like you see all these gems, before you ever said, then there's something there for you, was from the same visual I had in my first soul retrieval, where it was a pomegranate. It's a cross between a pomegranate and an apple. And my first soul retrieval, part of me was guiding this tree that was half pomegranate, half apple, like combined, but they were made of garnet and rubies. And I saw a huge one in the chest. So before you even said anything, I took it. And I was like, wow, it's you again. And I put it in my pocket. And that's when you said, take whatever's there for you and put it in your pocket. And I was like, oh, it's kind of like creeped out, but not really creeped out.
Yeah. I know what you
beautiful.
mean.
Yeah. And, you know, when I went to the fields, it's like I saw everyone. Well, I didn't really see everyone, but I sensed all the energies that were protecting me and guiding me through the meditation. And they were just pretty much like, well done. And right when I heard well done, you said come back. And that's when I just like put, wow, I don't know what else to say except for wow. And that's all I put in the chat.
I say wow too.
So I didn't mean to take up too much time, but
Oh
I
no,
feel
it's
like I
fine.
needed
It's
to.
absolutely fine. Oh, by the way, did anybody else get anything from the chest and bring it back? If you did, you can put that in the chat. If you got anything when you stuck your hand in the chest. But I think that you're absolutely right, Joyce. When you know, sometimes we get so able to get into the meditation that our guides and guardians do so much for us during that time when we're connected, you know. And I just find it amazing. And usually I deliberately try not to go anywhere during the meditation, because I've been known to be talking. I do the entire meditation, but I'm really like half asleep, and I'm on my own journey too, but I was really trying not to do that this time. And normally I am a mermaid, and I go to a mermaid city, and I have a really great time. A glowing purple orb. I love that. Susie is saying she got a glowing purple orb. What do you think that means? Well, think about it. Something that could glow. It could be round. It could be it's purple. What does the color purple say to you? You know, usually people think of that maybe as this kind of a spiritual color, you know, it's for the crown chakra. Think about that. And I'm going to ask you this. Everything that relates to the womb also relates to your dream time, right? So anything that you do that to enhance your dream life is also going to enhance your womb, generally speaking. Okay. So what I want you to do then is go to sleep tonight. I want you to write down on a piece of paper, what did the purple orb mean? Write it on a piece of paper, fold it up, put it underneath your pillow, and dream it. And then see what you dream about tomorrow. You know, like when you wake up tomorrow and you say, okay, well, whatever it is that you dreamt about is what that purple orb is representing for you. So try that. Right? Yeah, that's called dreaming with intention. And I do a lot of womb work, and I do a lot of dream work because they're interconnected. And getting back into oils again for a second. If you have a chance, you can have mugwort herbal oil. You can also use that for womb massage. It is very good for womb massage, but you have to be careful because mugwort essential oil is a neurotoxin, so you don't want that. I gotta make some more mugwort oil. I haven't made it in a long time, but it is so great for both dreaming and for womb work. I think I'm gonna make an oil that has mugwort and motherwort together. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Anyway, folks, I don't really want to keep you any longer. It's already 9:29, and I only said we are going to be together an hour. So, unless anybody else has anything they want to add, let us figuratively join hands. Take a deep breath. And we are grateful for everyone who has joined us here tonight, those still here and those who had to leave us early. We want to continue to heal in all ways possible, all of us together and apart. And that we hope that our grandest dreams are realized in our lifetime, and that we may also help others realize their grandest dreams in their lives. And so it is. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.